Miriam, Cush's mother, woke him up early the next day. Cush, get up now, you and your brother, run over Big Ma's house and help her harvest some of those herbs. She's been fussing at me for about a week now. Cush's oldest sister, Abir, was already up helping Miriam, placing plates on the kitchen table while their mother was finishing breakfast. Darweshi, their father, had been gone for months now, fighting alongside Samuel. During times like these, it was up to the boys to take care of the chores around the house. But everyone within the community was helping one another. Walid and Cush sat down at the kitchen table as Cush complained, "I was supposed to help Mammalean with her shipments." Walid teased him, "Mammalean probably got up way before you and is probably finished by now. She gets up before the roosters crow, just like Big Ma. She doesn't need you, little boy." Miriam looked at Walid. "What I done told you about messing with your brother, Walid. Plus, y'all ain't going to be up there long 'cause it's herbs, not cotton." Miriam turned to Cush, "You can go over there, when you finished." Cush's eyes lit up as he gobbled up his food and ran out the door shouting at his brother. "I'll meet you there." Cush ran up Big Ma's porch and started knocking on the door. "Who that, knocking on my door like they done gone crazy?" Big Ma shouted. Cush, trying to catch his breath, "It's me, Big Ma. Mama told us to help you in the garden. I'm trying to hurry up so I can go over Mammalean's." Big Ma looked out the door. "Who's us, boy?" Cush smiled. "I left Walid behind. He was still eating." Mammalean smiled. "Okay, good. I need to take some of my herbs over there. You can do that for me. Come on in, I got to put my jelly on my jelly cakes." Cush's mouth became watery. "Can I have a piece?" Big Ma smiling, "After you take care of my garden, I've just been cutting off the flowers, before they flower anyways. Never let your herbs flower until the end of the season so you can grow more. The seeds are in the flowers and if you do let them flower, they don't taste the same. Some of them anyways." They talked for a bit, before Walid came to the door. "Gone and let your brother in." Walid went straight into the kitchen. "Morning, Big Ma." "Jelly cake." As he reached for a piece of jelly cake, Big Ma slapped his hands. "Get your greedy butt outta here, those ain't for you." Cush laughed as Walid rubbed his hand from the pain. "Big Ma, I just wanted something sweet after breakfast." Big Ma was refilling the sugar jar and placing it on the counter when she smiled. "You ask, boy, everything ain't for ya. You know, it's because of this here sugar, Louisiana became part of the United States." Walid said, "I thought it was the low price for the land." Cush said, "No, it was more than that. France built a lot of colonies in the Americas, trying to get rich off of Europe's tastes for it along with indigo and other commodities from Saint-Domingue, before we knew it as Haiti, which was the sugar capital of the world. They controlled 40% of Britain and France's sugar and 60% of its coffee, which was the main and only reason for their brutal slave trade." Cush leaned against the kitchen sink. Slavery life expectancy was short and miserable. They died from two things, and neither one was old age. Yellow fever, and their brutal treatment. Their population turned over every 20 years. Just like in America, their slaves were the bottom rung of society and were simply expendable commodities. Big Ma interrupted. "They were not allowed to vote, until some free blacks began organizing, and the French government granted them that right. But they refused to recognize their laws, causing violence and revolt. The slaves killed their masters and occupied and burned their plantations. France eventually abolished slavery. Under Toussaint Louverture, slaves took over the entire island of Hispaniola, including Saint-Domingue and its neighbor Santo Domingo." Cush politely interrupted, "Yeah, but Napoleon couldn't stand the idea of the island being controlled by former slaves. He plotted to take the island back and reinstate slavery, but failed. Napoleon realized his dream of a French empire in the Americas might be doomed. He'd planned to send troops to Louisiana to take over the colony, which he had received from the Spanish, through a secret treaty, hoping to use the territory as a trading venue for the commodities produced there. But his plan was useless, if Haiti was under the control of the slaves. Thomas Jefferson and his cabinet didn't want the French, so close to the United States, and used the revolt as a bargaining piece. They approached the French with an offer to buy New Orleans. To their surprise, France offered to sell them the entire territory of Louisiana instead, because Haiti had become an independent country ran by the victorious former slaves. But though the victory eliminated slavery in Haiti, it ironically doubled the size of the U.S., which increased slavery in this country. Big Ma shook her head in agreeance, as she thought for a while. Okay, Cush, it's getting late now. You take old Gemini out to Cacahoyas and give her some of these supplies, while me and Walid do the gardening. We ain't going to be that long. Walid and Big Ma grabbed some tools, while Cush loaded up the saddlebags on Gemini's back and headed north. Cush spoke to Gemini. Gemini, sorry you couldn't go to war with Dan Daddy, Big Ma said. He said, you're getting too old. Gemini made a strange noise and shook his head in disagreement. I'm glad you're not gone with him so we can hang out more. Gemini nodded. Cush shouted, come on, boy, let's show Dan Daddy he's wrong about you. You ain't old. You're mature. Gemini picked up speed and raced to Mammalean's house.